Ship launches are supposed to be exciting, right? But not all ship launches are smooth sailing. From using a car to launch a ship to launching $1 million ship upside down, these ship launches took a turn for the worse and slowly morphed into catastrophes that would end up taking lives and damaging properties. Let's take a look at 10 ship launches that went wrong. Number 1. Ship launch failure in Bangladesh. Launch failures are not common, but not many end up with as many death tolls as this launch failure, as it ended up with an unexpected set of casualties that were very difficult to recover from. A small passenger boat named ML Sabat Al Hassan embarked on a fateful journey on the Shetalakaya River in Bangladesh, carrying roughly 150 passengers. This number far exceeded the vessel's intended capacity, making it precariously overloaded. The unthinkable happened just a few miles from Dhaka. The passenger vehicle collided with a much larger cargo ship named the SKL-3. The impact was devastating, causing the smaller boat to capsize and sink. Tragically, 26 people lost their lives in this catastrophe. Eyewitnesses reported that the cargo ship fled the scene instead of offering assistance, leaving the struggling passengers to fend for themselves. Rescue efforts managed to recover 21 bodies, but many others, especially those who couldn't swim, drowned before they could reach safety. Around 60 passengers could swim back to shore as the collision occurred shortly after the launch. As mentioned earlier, the ML Sabat Al Hassan carried significantly more passengers than it was designed to handle. This overloading severely compromised the boat's stability and maneuverability, making it highly susceptible to capsizing in the event of even a minor collision. Number 2. The crane catastrophe. Ship launches often involve intricate maneuvers and complex equipment. When even one element fails, the consequences can be severe. Adding to that, the landscape for the launch plays an essential role of the launch of a ship. Many times, it's easy to launch a ship from flat ground, but on high ground, a piece of equipment is needed to lower the ship gently. In this case, cranes are used. Usually, minor details are calculated, especially the weight, balance, and strength of the wire. The launch failure, which wasn't expected to occur, involved a lifeboat suspended mid-air by a crane, seemingly ready to be lowered onto a waiting vessel. However, in a heart-stopping moment, the crane tumbled over the vessel, narrowly missing the ship it was intended for. The reason for this was a cable failure. The particular cause for this cable failure was unclear, but possibilities include metal fatigue, improper maintenance, or excessive weight. The incident highlights the importance of thorough equipment checks. Number 3. $10 million yacht launch failure. While it's understandable that cargo boat launch failures might be miscalculations, it's another level when a luxury yacht is involved. They cost so much more due to the high-end materials used to create them, but even their high cost couldn't stop these yachts from having a horrible launch failure. But a sleek $10 million yacht, Baden, launch was expected to go well. Champagne flutes gleamed, guests were decked out, and excitement was crackling in the air. But fate had other plans. Instead of a majestic launch, Baden took a dramatic, unplanned dip, leaving hearts and vessels sinking. How did the launch failure happen? Just as Baden was being lowered into the water, disaster struck. The 90-foot beauty began listing heavily, then completely tumbled over. Thankfully, the 6 people on board, including the crew, escaped unharmed. The culprit behind this $1 million mishap wasn't the yacht itself, but the launch system. A technical glitch plagued the apparatus responsible for safely transferring Baden from the land to the water. Number 4. Staten Island Ferry Tragedy, 2003. October 15th, a date etched in memories of many New Yorkers, marked a dark chapter in the history of Staten Island Ferry. The MV Andrew J. Barbary, named after a local football coach, was making its usual journey from Manhattan when disaster struck. Instead of slowing down as it approached the Staten Island Pier, the ferry inexplicably continued at full speed, leading to a catastrophic collision. The cause, a combination of human errors. The assistant pilot, battling fatigue, had fallen asleep at the wheel while the ship's master failed to maintain proper control and vigilance. The impact was devastating. With over 6,000 passengers on board, the incident resulted in 11 tragic deaths. The force of the crash sliced through the passenger deck, leaving a scene of unthinkable chaos and suffering. While naming a vessel after a person's full name might seem unconventional, it held a significance in honoring the legacy of Andrew J. Barbery, a dedicated football coach. However, the subsequent misfortunes associated with the ferry, including another severe incident in 2010, cast a shadow over this well-intentioned tribute. Number 5, Barge launch failure 2007. The Galapagos Islands, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, are renowned for their unique and diverse ecosystem. However, in 2007, a seemingly routine operation turned into an environmental disaster that threatened the very essence of this ecological paradise. This incident involved a barge launch on San Cristobal Island, the largest island in the archipelago. Unlike most ship launch failures, this failure wasn't because of the ship, but rather a human error. They didn't calculate the weight of the container. A crane gradually dropped a container of 600 gallons of diesel on the ship until something happened. The crane tipped over, causing the vehicle to land abruptly on the ship. The ship tumbled over, and during the descent, the vessel tipped over, spilling a significant amount of heavy fuel oil into the pristine waters. This oil spill had a devastating impact on the surrounding environment, posing a serious threat to the delicate wildlife of the Galapagos Islands. Number 6. Slippery Slope, Russia. You may have seen many ship launch failures, but one which the ship launches upside down is pretty rare. In 2012, a $1 million yacht launch turned sour in Russia. The luxurious yacht, boasting a sleek design and likely intended for leisure on vast open waters, was being lowered into the water using a crane. However, the disaster struck during the descent. The yacht slipped from its harness, a crucial safety measure designed to hold the vessel securely during the launch. Without this support, the yacht plunged into the water at an uncontrolled angle. It ends up being submerged inside the water upside down. This $1 million yacht will cost a lot to repair, as the water would have damaged the yacht's interiors. If you're thinking of one way to waste $1 million a day, this would have been the perfect scenario. But it's not that we're happy that it happened. Fortunately, there seems to be no passengers on board the ship, so there was no casualties. What caused the incident could have been a human error during the launch process, such as an improper attachment of the yacht to the harness. Additionally, some reports suggested concerns about the lubrication used on the launching platform, which might have contributed to the yacht slipping. Sarawak's cargo ship takes a dive, number 7. Ship launches aren't exclusive to the world of luxury yachts. Cargo ships, the workhorses of the international trade system, also go through christening ceremonies. In August 2014, a launch ceremony at a shipyard in Sarawak, Malaysia, took an unexpected turn. As the newly built cargo ship was being lowered into the water, supported by the airbags, you would expect an easy cruise, but suddenly, things start to take a turn for the worse as the ship begins tumbling to the side. It ends up floating in the water. The chute has set sail, but on the wrong side. Thankfully, no injuries were reported, and the ship only sustained damages. While the details of the cause of this mishap are limited, a few possibilities come to mind. The mechanism responsible for releasing the ship from the launchway might have malfunctioned, causing the vessel to plunge prematurely, or there's an uneven weight distribution across the ship itself, leading to it tilting to the side. Number 8. The South African Fiasco. Sometimes launch mishaps occur not on the high seas, but on dry land. In 2018, a video from South Africa showcased a botched attempt to launch a boat using a jeep. Clearly, something went wrong, or they probably didn't expect this scenario to happen. The driver pushes the boat with the speed of the jeep and forces the boat to fly off. But things don't go as planned. It stopped abruptly just before the shore, causing the boat and passengers to slide into the ocean. Though it may be because the strips holding the boat to the jeep weren't released in time, the launch was a failure. Number 9. Indonesia ship launch failure. Unlike the South African Fiasco, where you could almost witness them trying to defy the law of physics, the Indonesian launch actually followed the normal procedures for launch until something unexpected happened. The Indonesian accident involved launching a Coast Guard vessel. The launch method involved rolling the vessel along an inflatable cylinder into the water. However, things went wrong as the ship started to tilt to the side as it moved forward. Fortunately, the tilting continued until the vessel eventually crashed onto its side. It looked like it might be due to uneven weight distribution that caused the ship to tilt. Fortunately, there were only minor human injuries reported. The same couldn't be said for the ship, as it sustained severe damage and ended up being scrapped. Number 10. Russian ship crashes after lunch. A significant incident unfolded in South Korea's bustling port of Busan, leaving behind a traffic gridlock and damaged infrastructure. The culprit here, a Russian cargo ship, with a captain with a penchant for overindulging in Navy rum. After a night of festivity, the captain, whose state raised questions about Busan's nightlife, steered the 370-foot Sea Grand off course, leading onto a disastrous collision course with a central highway bridge. The impact during rush hour sent shockwaves through the city, causing significant traffic jams as authorities scrambled to address the situation. The collision itself was no small feat. The Sea Grand, laden with nearly 3 million pounds of steel coils, slammed into the bridge, leaving a gaping hole in its steel structure. The ship sustained damage, highlighting the potential dangers of operating heavy machinery under influence. Which of these 10 launch failures seemed most horrifying to you? Feel free to let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so as to not miss out on our future videos.